Did you know that 9 hikers went missing in the frozen mountains of Russia? And when rescuers found their camp, it looked like they had run for their lives into the snow, barefoot, in the middle of the night. You ever heard of the Dyatlov Pass incident? It's one of the creepiest mysteries ever. Seriously, it's wild. Picture this: a group of experienced hikers vanishing in the Ural Mountains, leaving behind only bizarre clues. Crazy, right? Even now, nobody really knows what went down on that mysterious mountain. You know, it's like a puzzle that just won't fit together. In January 1959, 10 students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute set out on a ski expedition through the Ural Mountains, a remote, icy wilderness in the Soviet Union. They were young, super experienced, and just bursting with energy and excitement. You know, it was like they had this contagious vibe that made everyone around them feel alive. Igor Dyatlov, just 23, was known for his fearless spirit and amazing leadership skills. Everyone admired him. They were on a mission to conquer a mountain named Otorten, which literally means "don't go there" in the local Mansi language. Pretty wild, right? They laughed, sang songs, and took photos, completely unaware they were walking toward one of the darkest mysteries in modern history. Yuri Yudin, one of the group, got really sick and had to head back early. Little did he know, he would be the only one to make it out alive. On February 1st, the group pitched their tents on a snowy slope, right by a peak they later called Dyatlov Pass. It was a chilly adventure. The winds howled fiercely through the night, and it felt like 30 degrees Celsius outside. Brr! Seriously. I could practically see my breath freezing in the air. They set up their tent on this open ridge. Kind of a wild choice, right? I mean, can you believe it? It's like they wanted to be in the middle of all the action. Their last diary entry said, "We're finally on the mountain, and it feels amazing. The air is fresh, and the views are just breathtaking. The weather's a bit wild, right? The wind's howling like crazy, but we're keeping our spirits high and having fun." The next morning, they were just gone, like poof. When they didn't come back, search teams were sent out to find them. Weeks later, rescuers finally found the campsite, and what they discovered was just wild. It was like stepping into a scene from a movie. The tent was half buried in snow, which was wild enough, but what really blew the rescuers' minds was that it had been cut open from the inside. How crazy is that? Inside were boots, snuggly coats, and all the gear they needed to stay warm and comfy while enjoying the great outdoors. Tracks led away from the tent, bare feet, mismatched socks, and one lonely shoe. The footprints gradually faded into the woods below, like a little mystery waiting to be uncovered. 2 bodies were found near a small forest, barefoot, wearing only underwear. Their hands burned as if they had tried to build a fire. 3 more bodies were discovered later, Dyatlov among them, frozen mid-step, as if crawling back toward the tent. It seemed like they were fleeing from something scary. The last 4 hikers had been missing for months now, and it's just so unsettling, you know. When the last bodies were discovered, buried deep in the snow, it went from tragic to an absolute nightmare. Can you believe it? One woman had no eyes at all, and another was missing her tongue. It was honestly super shocking to see that kind of thing. Just wild, right? Their faces looked really messed up. But strangely, there was 0 signs of a fight at all. It was just so weird, right? The autopsies described injuries like massive internal trauma, similar to a car crash, but with no external wounds. Theories started flying around like crazy, and tiny weird traces of radiation showed up on their clothes, making everyone freak out. It seriously looked like they just threw their tent and gear everywhere, like they panicked and took off. You know, what could possibly drive 9 seasoned hikers to dash into the freezing dark, barefoot and half naked, never to be seen again? The Soviet government quickly shut it down, calling it nothing more than a natural force. Can you believe that? But that phrase only deepened the mystery. Some said it was an avalanche, but the slope was too shallow and the tent too intact. Some folks even threw out the idea of infrasound, those low-frequency waves from the wind that might be making people feel panicked or even hallucinate. Sounds wild, right? People were even talking about secret military tests, like parachute mines or radiation experiments that totally went wrong. Can you believe it? You know, folks around here are always chatting about the Mansi curse, claiming those hikers really upset the mountain spirits. Can you believe that? A few witnesses claim to have seen strange orange lights in the sky the night of the disaster, glowing orbs moving silently above the ridge. You know, when the rescuers finally showed up, they could totally smell this weird, faint metallic taste in the air. It was kinda eerie, right? Some of the soldiers who handled the bodies reported strange burns on their skin afterward. Whatever happened there, it wasn't just nature. Yuri Yudin, the only one who made it out, carried those haunting memories with him every single day. He said, "If I had stuck around, I would have totally ended up like them. You know, it's just not my vibe at all." Years later, when he stumbled upon their things, he couldn't hold back his tears. "These were my friends," he said, heartbroken. "They died in terror, and honestly, no one will ever really know why, right? It's just one of those mysteries that keeps us wondering." Before his death in 2013, he admitted he believed the Soviet military was testing something secret and that his friends were caught in it. He just couldn't prove it, and honestly, no one else could either, right? It's like everyone was scratching their heads, wondering what was going on. More than 60 years later, the snow still blankets their last campsite. Untouched and silent, the wind howls just like it did that unforgettable night, stirring up old memories and feelings. Their tent, their journals, and their bodies, frozen in time, are silent witnesses to a truth the mountain refuses to share. The Dyatlov Pass stands as a monument to mystery, where the line between science and the supernatural disappears into the white. Some say it was nature. Some folks say it was a man. But what if it was something way older, something that just didn't want to be seen at all? And if you stand there long enough, they say you can still hear their screams, carried on the wind, echoing through the snow.